Welcome back, everyone. Today, I'm going to be going over a couple different things. First of all, let me see, here we go. Okay, first of all, I want to give a huge thank you to everyone because, that last stream was very successful. I'm very excited about this. So, today I'm going to be going over two main topics. The players, who they truly are, and also who their characters are. And then a brief recap of last session so that anyone who wants to tune in next week live will not, or if you forget anything, you don't have to watch the video over again, the full length one. Although, if you want to get all of the action and all the laughs and all of the awesome camaraderie between the players, then I highly suggest you do go watch that other video. But this is a brief recap of session 1 of Cold Front. So, first of all, let's go over the player characters, shall we? We had Lucas. Let's start with Lucas. Now, encoding overloaded. I don't know. If I'm all glitchy, sorry about that. But it's weird how when I use images, it gets all glitchy. Anyway, so Lucas. Now, for each of these characters, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the people who play them. So this is Carter. He has his own YouTube channel. I highly recommend you go check it out. He makes some cool videos. A lot of them are about Star Wars. He's made some Star Wars fan fiction, and also he covered the Mandalorian theme song, and he did a really good job of it too. And he's really good at playing the piano and the guitar. And yeah, he's a friend of mine, and he plays Lucas. Now Lucas, and there will be a link to everything everyone has in the description. So please go check them out, follow them, subscribe to them, all that stuff. So, Lucas is a YouTuber. Wonder why. Lucas is a YouTuber. He has a pet stoat. I think the stoat's name was Stark. Stark the stoat. Now, Lucas is a little obnoxious, but he has a very good heart, as evidenced by the fact that he helped that homeless person in the session. He has a gun on it. He had a gun. Just a very random thing for him to have, but obviously he's pro-gun. And yeah, he contributed a lot to our session. Lucas. He also had some pretty interesting things happen to him. He lives in Canada and is traveling to Tassos as one of the many stops on his journey around the United States and Canada blogging. So, there you go, Lucas. Now we're moving on to Claire. Now, Claire is Bella. And Bella has a Instagram page where she makes all types of very cool art. A lot of it is like anthropomorphic creatures, like animal people and stuff like that. It's very interesting. You should go check it out. There'll be a link to that in the description. And as I understand, she's also a writer, and she likes writing horror-related things. So, perfect fit for Call of Cthulhu. Now, Claire is a bit of a scaredy cat. She believes that, for some reason, she has this fear of ducks. She believes that there's always going to be a duck somewhere watching her. It's weird. I don't remember what the phobia is called, but it's some type of phobia. She also has a bad ear, and she has a hearing aid. That ear got very badly damaged in our session. It got even worse than it already was. Let me think. Anything else about Claire? She was also pretty smart, though. She definitely seemed to be the brains of the outfit, along with Lucas. Lucas and Claire were smarter. And now we're going to move on to Jason, who is played by my cousin, Jason. You may have noticed him commenting in the different videos and stuff. My thing just glitched again, I'm sorry. He has his own YouTube channel called On YouTube. That channel, he posts stuff about him playing games and just stuff about his life. I highly recommend you go check him out. And yeah, so Jason's character in the stream itself was a kind of a drifter. He was there for an Exciter concert, which is apparently a speed metal / thrash metal band that is based in Canada. and they were going to be performing at Tassis. That's what he's there for. He drove a bus over many miles, many miles of travel since he was from Florida. So, yeah, Tassis is in northern Canada. Yeah. So he made it there, and he just kind of crashed on a bench and then kind of was pulled into the adventure and mystery and horror of the cold front scenario as everything started going haywire. Finally, we have Hunter. Now, Hunter is played by Ryan, and Ryan is an actor. And he has been in all types of stuff. He's also a very good map maker and role player. All these people are good role players. All of them have played D&D before, and Ryan has been playing D&D with me since I started playing D&D. He was my first player. He might have been my first player. I might have had one session before his with a different group, but then he was the first player that I ran my own campaign for. And then Carter joined him in that thing. So, yeah. He's an actor. I'll have a link to his Facebook and his Instagram down below. You can check out what he's done. He's been in a few different things with me, as I am also an actor. In case you want to check out my things, they're also in the thing below, so, the description. Anyway, on to the first. Hunter is a police detective, and he is traveling to Tassis because a friend of his, Randy Moore, went missing. Hunter Wolf is his full name. He said his full name many times, so I remember his full name, unlike the rest of the players whose full names I wouldn't remember for the life of me. Now, these 4 unlikely heroes are not heroes, they are victims. So, they came to the village of Tassis. They all came there for different reasons. One came for an Exciter concert. One came... so Claire was there because her grandmother was in a strange coma. She hasn't really told the group much about it, so I'm not going to tell you much about it either, but the grandmother had some type of strange coma, and she doesn't really know what's going on. Lucas is there because of his blogging. He is making a stop there. He's heard that it's got some pretty places in it, beautiful scenery, that there's docks, and there was once different types of trades there. So it's been an interesting ride for him. Hunter Wolf is there on a no-nonsense mission to find his friend Randy Moore, who was a police detective. They all kind of meet up at a general store. It takes them a while to get there, but they meet each other. And there they meet Thomas, the store owner, who smells of cigars, and Roger, the politician, or the aspiring politician, who has traveled the world, according to him, and he seemed like a very nice person. Thomas, the store owner, was holding some type of illicit materials in the back room, which Randy Moore confiscated before he went missing. Anyway, they basically find out that the girl's grandmother is sick, and they decide to regroup at her house because they cannot find that many leads. Well, actually, Hunter finds multiple leads, but he doesn't really follow up on them until later. They all go back to her house, and she makes them tea, but then she finds out that the grandmother who she was watching has gone missing. That leads them into a search of the basement where they find occultic runes written in blood on the wall, and a hole in the wall, which was hidden behind a wardrobe type thing, or like a gateway to Narnia, so to speak. And Claire had never seen this before. She's been in this basement many times, and she had never seen this hole, so it was pretty strange. They went through the hole and found a sawmill. Now, throughout this session, they found out different things about the town. So, this town of Tassis in northern Canada is pretty strange because it's warm, or it was warm. It was once super warm. When it first started being settled, it was warm enough to grow different types of crops that were not normally grown up that far north. There was also very good business in lumber, and there's this sawmill, which was very important to these people. So the town once had a population of like 2,000 people, but it has dwindled over the years, and for some reason, it's gotten colder every year since the sawmill was condemned. Now, recently, there's been some slight activity in the sawmill, according to Thomas, the general store owner. So the players assume that there's apparently some logger still working in there. Anyway, they go through the tunnel in the girl's home, and they end up finding. Well, actually, it's specifically Lucas who goes through. The others kind of wait back. A lot of different things transpire. I'm trying to give a very condensed version of it. Lucas goes up and he finds the sawmill. He finds that the tunnel ends inside the sawmill. Now, the sawmill has a bunch of different saws that all are bloody. They're old blood, though. It's not like grandmother, hopefully, is not dead. But they're older saws. But they seem like maybe they're being primed for use. And as he looks around, he suddenly sees a mask. It's a very strange mask. Let me see if I can get a picture of it up on here. Yeah, you know what? Never mind now. You can watch the stream and see a picture of it. It's a strange pale mask with no eyes. And it's kind of glowing in the dark, and all he sees is the mask. And it kind of makes him go nuts, and he goes back down the tunnel, back to the other people, who convince him that it was nothing, and that they should go and investigate, because the grandmother's hopefully in there somewhere. So they go back, which doesn't make any sense since the grandmother is supposedly in a coma. So they go back into the sawmill, and they discover that... there's a lot of bloody related saws, like table saws, in the workplace. It has a bunch of police tape around it and has condemned signs on it. They end up not really finding much, except for They find a book, and they don't really read it very much. Jason is the one who takes it and reads from it. They find out basically that someone, or at least the book says that someone believes that you need to sacrifice to something to keep cold away and prosperity. Keep prosperity in the town. Interesting. One very specific passage for you. This is for the players as well. Make sure you remember this passage because it's important. And the rest of you as you're paying attention to the stream. Remove outer growths from the soul cage. Then, whilst consuming the growths as an act of submission, burn the cages to open them and release their souls to the all-seeing one. Seems legit, you know? Seems like legit. So, yeah, interesting. So then then the police officer comes, or he's a guy masquerading as a police officer. He pretends to be Hunter's boss. Hunter does not really recognize him, and he doesn't really know who it is. And he ends up exposing this guy for being a fake. The guy protests his innocence and says he's just trying to help. Jason sneaks up behind him and stabs him with a switchblade. The guy also had pulled a gun on them, though, so it was kind of in an act of self-defense. The guy runs back to the car. I think he pulled a gun on him. I think he does. If he didn't, he was supposed to. He had a gun. Anyway, the guy runs back to the car. While this was going on, so he drove up in a police car, which is why he pretended he was a police officer. While this was going on, what are their names? Lucas and Claire were breaking into the car to check to see if he had, identification. Claire was in the trunk. Lucas was in the passenger seat. The guy got back in the car. He was kind of an idiot. He wasn't all there. They couldn't really tell which. He might have been crazy. He might have just been stupid. But he didn't notice anything, and he started driving away. Him and Lucas got into a fight, and Lucas ends up shooting him in the leg. That made him drive the car off the road, and the car flipped. Claire came down to one hit point, broke her arm, was completely knocked out. Her arm was completely bent and broken the wrong way. They never put that in a cast. They're going to have to very soon, or else we're going to have problems. And what's his name? Lucas woke up a few seconds later, he had passed out for a few seconds. He woke up. He's upside down in the car. Gasoline was like dripping down his back, and he immediately like throws his gun at the window of the car to break it, and then he crawls out of the window of the car. The police guy, or the masquerading as a police guy person, does not make it. Lucas comes out, and he's looking around. He's very dizzy, and he suddenly thinks he sees something, and it's a mask. And he just goes into shock, and he just goes down. He goes into a ball and closes his eyes, and he just decides to himself that as long as he keeps his eyes closed, the thing won't see him because it's not real. And he feels a hand on his shoulder, a cold, clammy hand on his shoulder. He just continues telling himself, it's not real, it's not real, it's not real. He feels wind on his face. And then he was not seen of again for a long while. So then the others came back, found Claire, who the car explodes. The police guy dies, or the fake police guy dies. They find his bloody remains, and the car is in a million pieces. Claire's ear is bleeding profusely. Her arm is broken. She's all beat up. They try to fix her. They administer some first aid. Doesn't do much. And they go to an old, terrible-looking hotel. It's nighttime by this point. There is a very strange-looking person at the front desk of the hotel. You can't really tell if it's a boy or a girl. They kind of call it an it. It's a very, very strange person. They end up asking if the person ends up asking if they want a room. They finally agree to getting a room. It's a terrible room. The hotel sucks. And they all settle down for the night. And then they hear the door creaking open. Then we switched back over to Lucas, who woke up, but he could not see. His eyes opened, and he felt that there was something in front of his face. It's almost like something. He looked around, and suddenly he started hearing voices in his head. And that's where the audience participation came into play. And there's going to be more in the next session. What's his name? Lucas. Sorry, I keep forgetting your name, Lucas. Lucas was hearing, so the people would chat, and they would put quotation marks around what they wanted him to hear. A lot of it was jokes, but there were some interesting things. And next session, those very things that you're making him think might become actions that he is forced to do. We'll see. We shall see. So, yeah, that's basically where we ended. There was a lot more to it, and that was a very, very brief. It's been 18 minutes, and I'm not done yet. So, let's just continue. Let's keep this rolling. Next week, or basically this week, I don't know what you'd call it. Saturday. The what? I don't know if this is going to pull up. So Saturday, so it's like the same date as it was last time. Saturday the 22nd, we are going to have another session, part 2 of Cold Front. At the same time, 5 o'clock, be there. Make sure that you watch my video on audience participation because it's important. And thank you guys so much for participating in it because I just want to point out something. That stream has like 320 views on YouTube. That means that it has over twice the amount of my highest video, which is that fan film I made, which is called How to Get into Call of Cthulhu Part 0. Now take a look at this. We have reached the 3,000 views milestone and the 65 subscriber milestone. Thank you guys so much. You have no idea what it means to me because I'm making this channel for you guys. And I want to entertain you, maybe help you guys out, and I hope that you'll help me out because to me we are a collective hive mind. We are Legion, right? So, together, that's why I'm trying to embrace a lot of things that I haven't really seen other role-playing groups do, which is very in the moment interaction with your community, which would be having them, like, I was talking to the chatters while we were doing the live stream and stuff like that. So yeah, it's been very fun doing this, and I really appreciate you joining us, because together we are stronger, and united we can become one. And yeah, make sure that you tune in next week, because it's about to get it's about to get very interesting. So thank you all for watching this. Thank you for watching to the end. Those of you who do, you have earned the Deathstroke 9 mark of approval. Thank you very much. Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. Thanks for watching. See you very soon. I'm probably going to upload at least one video before the stream, and stay tuned for that. I don't know exactly what it's going to be about. I'm also, one other thing before you go, one last thing. I'm planning on doing a Pulp Cthulhu review, so if you can stay tuned for that. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week, or this week, or whatever, you know. Bye.